Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to talk about Mango because I've been having some thoughts. Man, I was just like thinking about it and I started getting worked up and I was like, you know what? Why don't I why don't I turn on some Melee? Why don't I open up OBS and why don't I talk to the people about this? Because I started organizing my thoughts a little bit and I was like, wait, this would actually just make a good video. And so essentially the idea around the video is that I make a lot of educational content, and sometimes I present new ideas, right? Like in my last video, I talked about how you can use these like side B edge cancels to do some pretty cool stuff, and maybe outmaneuver people between stocks. And that's new. Similar to how like double shining. Not a lot of people double shine. Ledge dashing. There's so many like things I make videos about. I made a multi-shine tutorial, I made a ledge dash tutorial, all these things within like the last month or whatever. And these are things that Mango doesn't do. And I get some pushback because Mango doesn't do these things. There's a pretty popular video that I have at this point, which is an edge guard involving like a shine delayed back air when people are recovering from below. I mentioned how I even show video examples of how Mango like just does a back air or a down air. Keep in mind, on FD, I would actually suggest people do this down air. I don't want to get that mixed up. But I show how Mango doesn't do that, and then it costs him like a stock in a really important game. And some people will tell me when I'll be like, people ask me maybe, how do you deal with Fox's full hop? I'm like, oh, well, there's a million different answers to that, but one answer maybe is that you could beat it out with up tilt. You know, Fox comes in on top of you, and you beat it out with an up tilt. People will say to me, well, Mango doesn't do that. And I think that there is an interesting element to this that people are missing, which is, and this takes like a long, thorough analysis that is still to this day being updated, which is that Mango isn't the GOAT because he isn't up tilting. He's the GOAT in spite of not up tilting. He's not the GOAT because he doesn't do my shine delayed back air edge guard. He's the GOAT in spite of not doing it. And of course I have to analyze for myself because I want to consider what I want to bring into my own gameplay to hopefully be a better and better competitor. It's like, well, am I wasting my time with that? Am I wasting my time with double shine? Is this too difficult for the payoff? Is this not consistent enough? Is there some sort of decision tree down the line, like, oh, okay, I do the shine back air, which introduces some sort of counterplay that didn't exist if Mango's doing this or whatever. And the funny thing is that the answer almost always is no. And that it is shocking that Mango is the best Falco of all time, in spite of so many things that he hasn't added to his gameplay. Which has led me to this video idea of talking about what does make Mango the GOAT. And I have a bunch of things written down. We'll talk about it very, very soon. I have a list. But it's just interesting to me because these same people who say, well, Mango doesn't do that. Why would I do these side B edge cancels? Mango doesn't do that. And none of you are even close to Mango in skill or whatever. But it's like impossible to deny if you really think about it, which a lot of people don't. Okay, I'm not accusing you guys. Anybody that's clicked on this video, of course, you're thinking about it because you're thoughtful people. That's why you would click on this video. Not my clickbait title. But it's impossible to deny that doing a double shine is good. Double shining, good. Late aerial, good. Like Sammy Nair timing, good. Ledge dashing, good. The side Bs that I was talking about recently, good. Like, essentially impossible to avoid the idea that these things are good to do, and Mango's not doing them. And it's only funny because the same people who tell me, well, Mango isn't doing that, those are the same people that when Mango starts doing something new will be like, oh, the GOAT. Of course he's added this brilliant idea into his gameplay. It's like, okay, listen. I love a good Mango glazing power hour. All right, I'm the king of it. I'm about to go into all of the things that I think Mango is the best in the world at, and has been across the game's history. But at the same time, we can just admit that there are things that he isn't doing. This is just like HBox, but Falco has so much to him. Mango would never want to be compared to HBox in this way. My voice is cracking because I'm nervous even just talking about it. But people talked forever about, like, dude, HBox doesn't even jump, cancel, grab. And, like, okay, Puff, very limited character. She can't do nearly as much as Falco or whatever. But, like, reaction, tech chase, resting. Okay, Hungrybox wasn't doing that. It's arguable whether or not he's even doing it right now. But Falco is so limitless, and there's so much more to be discovered with Falco. If any of you guys don't believe me, just go watch a KJH combo video and your mind is going to be blown. But when I watch Mango play, all I think is, oh, he could have done that. Oh, he could have done this. Oh, he could have done X thing, and then he would have just taken the stock. And of course, he puts himself in so many brilliant positions, and he gets so many brilliant openings, or he's able to mitigate damage in such a brilliant way that it's like, man, if he could just juice those situations a little bit more, he would be even more of the GOAT. And the most recent example of this, which somebody said in my stream recently, was like, somebody was talking about how, like, you shouldn't grab because Mango doesn't grab. And someone's like, oh, Mango's actually grabbing all the time now, and it actually looks hella good. And it's like, okay, well, grabbing has always been good. If you have an analytical mind, you should think like, okay, well, grab beats shield, grab nets Falco an advantage. He might not get a direct combo, but it's way better than just like a bunch of different things. And it's important to threaten that somebody can't just hold shield all the time and across different percent thresholds and getting positional advantages over people. Obviously, grabbing people is good, and so Mango doing it now doesn't just mean that like Mango unlocks some key to the meta. It's just always been good, but he's been the GOAT in spite of it. I know I just rambled and went in a million circles, but let's get into this list of, okay, Mango's not double shining, he's not ledge dashing to the consistency that other Falcos are, he never laser lands, he's not reaction tech chasing, he isn't, God, there's too many examples to list. Why is he the GOAT then? And it's interesting because I can make all these little educational content videos about how to reaction tech chase or how to do a specific SDI sequence, and Mango might never do those things. But even I, the person who makes those videos and introduces them to the world because I think they're interesting and helpful, knows that that isn't what makes a high-level or top-level competitor. I get it. Guys, trust me, I get it. There are different things, and I'm working on these sorts of things all the time on top of, like, I don't think that I'm gonna side B edge cancel my way into like being better than Mango. That's not how it works. Just because I can double shine or I do double down air combos, you know, that isn't just gonna push me over the edge and now I'm better than Mango. Maybe eventually it will be better to have those things in my arsenal when he hasn't practiced those things. Like that's probably gonna be helpful to me when I've improved other actual core skills about the game. But it's just incredibly difficult to make a short form educational content piece about, let me just pull something from this list, like awareness. Okay, I'll maybe say that Mango has an incredibly high level of awareness. And I could go into a full-length analysis and point out all the times where he was specifically aware enough to avoid a situation, or noticed a specific pattern because of how aware and in the moment he was. But it's almost impossible to just break down like, yeah, just be more aware. Want to practice your awareness? Sit and think. It's like, okay. I can make you a video about, like, okay, double roll from the ledge and then side B. It will make you edge cancel. It is so much more difficult to make any piece about any of these things that I'm about to mention. So, starting here, what makes Mango the GOAT? First thing is tech skill consistency. So, this is something that I even mentioned earlier when I talked about double shining that does come up when I come up with new things. How consistent can I be with this, and is it even worth it to go for? Could I go for something worse all the time, but just have it be so easy that I never mess it up? And this is an interesting balance to find, because I think that Cody and Mango are probably like the two top-level competitors that are doing difficult things at a highly consistent level. But throughout the history of time, like, Mutaking, and I'm so sorry, this is going to sound like an insult, but I promise I respect these people as competitors heavily. But like Mutaking, Armada, Hungrybox, other incredibly high level players over the course of history that have been way better versus in comparison to the field than I have ever been. They don't ever mess up because they do a lot of easy things. It's like if you watch Armada's gameplay, there's probably not a lot in there that like a person who practiced for 2 years couldn't do. But it's like, okay, well, why did he never lose? But part of it is that they are making active choices to do things that they can do consistently. They don't want to push themselves to just do low percentage of success types of options. And maybe Multishine right now falls into that category for some of these high-level players like Mango, who right now isn't double shining. But even now we're seeing Mango do things like ledge dashing, and I think that pushing the envelope is really important. And if you look over the course of Melee's history, if you look back at a top-level player in 2006, and if you showed them gameplay of 2 top 50 players from 2024, 2025, they'd be like, this is a task bot. There's no way that somebody could ledge dash with that consistency. They probably have macros and they're cheating. And it's like, no, man, this is actually pretty standard. These players like do this every single time they play. It would be like, holy cow. And if you look at Mango's gameplay from 2011 and compare it to today, he's doing things that he was not doing previously that are much, much harder. And it's found similar to how like the mile time has been pushed over the course of human history. It's like, okay, well, we've found that you can go faster and be more consistent. It just takes more practice. And so I'm the kind of guy who's on the cutting edge of that type of stuff and is kind of researching it, labbing it, studying it, implementing it. And I'm sort of trying to weigh the risks and rewards without knowing the actual answer in the moment. And that's really difficult. And a lot of times, Mango, who's so good at so many other things, will just wait for other people to figure that out, and then he'll implement it into his game. And that's what I think, like, shield dropping. He wasn't shield dropping. He was, like, late to the game on that one. But, okay, he saw that everybody's doing it, and it's very good. It's been proven to be very consistent, especially with UCF. Boom, he's just doing it all the time. Ledge dashing is a thing that he's also implementing a ton, and I think that he's seen a lot of other people just hit every single ledge dash every single time, and he's like, okay, this is possible. I can do this. And then he just adds it in. And he's had so much time practicing over the years and so much foundational tech skill that, like, he just has to add in 1 or 2 things. It's not like he has to reinvent the wheel, which I think is pretty cool. So tech skill consistency is something that Mango is extremely good at. He certainly messes up far, far less than me or Magi or KJH or Bobby or any other top Falco, you know? Way less. Another thing, tempo control and pacing. I think if you watch Mango play, even to the common spectator, I think that you'd be able to notice that he like moves differently and at different timings than other Falcos. And a lot of that is intuitive. I think he's kind of stumbled into the correct timing mix-ups of like how long he has to dash for that to give somebody a visual cue, how long certain moves take that he has to dash back against in order to dash back in and whiff punish. He has this sort of movement to him that a lot of other people don't have. A lot of people, myself included, are faster than Mango. Every single time I look at our inputs per second, my inputs per second, always much faster than Mango. And if I just like look at how I move across a stage or pressure a shield, I'm doing things a lot faster. But with everything in Melee, you want to do things at the right time, not as quickly as possible. You don't want to do them too slow, you don't want to do them too fast, you want to find the exact balance. And I think in a lot of ways, Mango strikes that balance perfectly. Whether or not it's playing off of his opponent's timings at a perfect rate, you know, or if it's just like movement in general, I think that he has found that, and that's extremely important. So, on to the next thing, which is like, I originally had these as separate points because I think that they're slightly separate things, but these things all kind of go along together. Awareness, focus, mentality, and experience. So I think when Mango plays, he's able to notice things at a very high level. Let's say that somebody like slides off on a side platform. He doesn't just like he doesn't go through the motions of overextending and trying to pressure that person. He might back off or put pressure on that slide off instead of just still going for the same standard combo. And, oh, they slid off, boom, and he gets hit. This is a really important factor when it comes to thinking about spacing. He's very aware of the space between him and his opponents, the spacing that he can cover with his attacks, how far his opponent could move into him. All of these things really categorize like someone who's incredibly good at the game. So awareness, focus. He's able to dial in on the game. Crowds chanting, right? Mango, Mango. Or maybe they're cheering for the other guy because it's like some random from that region or whatever. I think he's really good at being able to tune that out and focus on the task at hand and still play high-level melee, which is also part of his mentality. He has a great competitive mentality, and he has a lot of experience on the main stage, fighting against people that are difficult to beat with his back against the wall. You know, and that experience feeds into being able to lock in when it matters. A lot of other people don't have that type of experience, but he definitely does, which is one of the reasons why I mentioned that I think it's really easy for Mango. Maybe not easy, but Mango is probably a really difficult opponent to beat with Donkey Kong. I tweeted this out when Mango first beat Junebug, and I was like, oh, damn, that just looked impossible for June. Because I think that mid-tier characters and a lot of, like, characters that don't have great neutral but have really good punishes, they want you to get scared so that they can capitalize on your fear. But with somebody with a lot of experience and high levels of tech skill consistency, that it's going to be, like, nearly impossible to beat them. Mango's not afraid of you, and he's very experienced in high-pressure situations fighting against characters that have good punish games. So, like, what are you actually going to do, man? Like, how are you going to get your openings? How are you about to outplay Mango's Falco with Donkey Kong right now? And eventually what you see when Mango is on point is that it's just very, very, very difficult. The next thing, which is interesting, because I think that Mango's offense, okay, everybody talks about how amazing he is at pushing the envelope and forcing his way in and overwhelming his opponent. I don't want to say that's like a thing of the past or whatever, but something that is really good about Mango in reality is his defense and his damage mitigation in particular. His DI is amazing. Again, his awareness when he's being hit, or if he could be whiff punished, he's already holding the correct direction to prevent the combo. He knows what people are going to hit him with, so he's already on the next level of like currently SDIing that as it happens. It's not like his defense is so good because like he just like runs away from the opponent and full hops and like runs away and shields and full hops away and lasers in place a bunch and zones people out. That's not what it is. It's that like he's able to defend himself properly. A lot of like he has good options out of shield if he ever gets put into it. He's able to avoid people's strong mix-ups in ways where he can stay close and threatening. He's able to disengage from moments, but then take the space back versus people who might have gotten on top of him in a particular moment. If you want to, you can watch him versus Falcon. I'm not even going to name a set because I'm sure you could look it up in almost any set that it happens. But I was in this lesson where I was getting nair grabbed by a Falcon over and over and over and over and over again. And Sammy was like, well, you have to like SDI that away or like slide it off. Be prepared for it and hold away. And I just wasn't every single time. I was just like holding down or something or in because I was already like attacking with my nair or whatever. And I'm just like holding in that moment. I get naired, grabbed, killed. And I was like, okay, interesting. I feel like Mango never gets nair grabbed. And we looked at him playing. He SDIs it away every single time or DIs it to slide off on a side platform or the edge of the stage. It seems incredibly difficult to land strong, meaningful hits against Mango because he's so aware and good at damage mitigation. Next thing is that he has a willingness to gamble, reads on high-level opponents, and he has the ability to adapt. Any anybody that's seen any analysis of me watching Mango will know that I see him like do a laser late nair approach and it works. Laser late nair approach. And maybe that one didn't work, but he didn't get punished. And the next time he lasers, maybe he adds a timing mix-up, or he changes his option and he does laser approaching laser next time, because he knows that the answer to beating that nair is somebody dashing back and whiff punishing. So next time he's going to do an approaching laser. He's very aware and willing to be wrong and adapt the next time. So Mango knows that eventually you have to hit somebody. These, again, along with my videos, not necessarily being the most productive on how to be a high-level, top-level player or whatever, all I'm teaching you is like how to do a combo that's definitely going to help you beat some of your friends and have a slightly better openings per kill. And like with these side Bs, maybe I'm helping you avoid certain open-ups from your opponents or whatever, and all this kind of stuff. All of it is important, and Mango certainly has all of that, but when are you going to hit the guy, man? When are you going to hit him, and how are you going to hit him? A lot of, so I said even my videos, but like fiction videos, like the one that talks about lasering. When are you going to hit the guy? I know the lasers are hard to beat. Nearly impossible. I've watched the video. I even like, I don't think that I really helped, but like he kind of ran some ideas by me and was like, does this seem right? I was like, yep, that makes absolute perfect sense to me. Made the video. The video's beautiful. I highly recommend you guys go watch it. But when do you hit them? And Mango knows that eventually you need to take a gamble. You need to, this was straight up Donald Trump. I couldn't have been more accurate with my hand motion. So what was I saying? You have to gamble eventually. You have to play a mix-up eventually. And Mango has played high-level opponents, and he's not afraid. He's not thinking. His mental stack isn't overwhelmed. He's not thinking, well, what if Cody has some sort of secret high-level Z-jump technique that's going to be able to help him beat this thing? He's like, no, he's going to play to Falco's strengths and play his mix-ups, and he's going to hit him to open him up, and if he's wrong, so be it. And more people need that skill. You know how many times I've seen people like dash dancing and waiting? The enemy messes up like 6 times and the person didn't pounce on them a single time. It's like, what are you even doing? Lasering, the same thing. I've seen you laser 8 times in a row and you have your opponent off balance in the corner, positional advantage, frame advantage. Why aren't you eventually taking the gamble? What's happening? When are you going to hit them? And a lot of times people do not have that planned out. But Mango, very willing in those spots to be able to do that. And he's played enough high-level melee that he knows how high-level players are going to respond to his options. And all of that combination of things means that he's going to be able to open them up very consistently. Next thing is punish game and ability to close out stocks, and his recovery. So this just kind of gets into openings per kill. Mango might not have the best punish game. I mean, he might have the best punish game out there right now, but like he doesn't have the optimal punish game. He's not doing the double down air into dash jump shine so that nobody can SDI out of it ever, but he has a functional punish game that he doesn't mess up. And that's really all you need, to be honest. If you have a functional punish game, a lot of people out there, okay, listen to me, you don't have a functioning punish game, okay? You get 2 pieces and then nothing. Mango has a functioning punish game that people have a hard time avoiding, that he doesn't mess up, and he's very aware and good at closing out stocks. The amount of times I see people just go for DI mix-up, into 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 like boop, boop, bam, bam, and then like, oh, somebody side Bs and they did whatever. It's like, okay, well, your lasers aren't going to kill the guy. And your DI mix-up, if it's not going to end up killing this guy, a lot of times maybe you tacked on some damage, but you didn't close out the stock. Mango, you can think about, of course, you guys are going to be able to see this in your mind, down smash edge guards, double jump down air reads, going out there and back airing somebody maybe potentially, going out and down airing somebody, grabbing the ledge, rolling up, forward smashing to end stocks as DI mix-ups. He does so many things that end stocks. And if you really think about the fundamental core thing about the game, you have to close out the stocks before your opponent closes out yours. Doesn't matter if you did a flashy combo. Doesn't matter if you did 140% to your opponent. Doesn't matter if you have them in a good position. It matters if you are able to close out those stocks, and Mango has found very effective ways of doing that. Whether it's within his punish game or within his edge guarding, he is able to close out stocks against every single relevant character in the game, and that's super important. And then his recovery, he doesn't, if you watch Mango, almost never, unless he's losing hardcore, is he doing this side B. And the amount of students I have to watch that do this side B, and the amount of top 100 level players that I have to watch doing this side B and dying for it, because people are just hopeful, man. They're like, maybe I hit them, maybe they don't edge guard me, and maybe it all works out. Mango doesn't really leave it up to chance very often. He's going to try to sweet spot with the side B. He's going to try to aim it with timing mix-ups. He's going to up B far enough away that you can't hit him, and then go high and make opponents earn it. And then as a very powerful mix-up, then he will go to the ledge as a mix-up to him going high after he's showcased it a few times. People don't have that type of nuance to the recovery a lot of the time, so even though Mango isn't taking advantage of like perfect mid shortens, or when he's on the ledge, he doesn't always choose the safest options or most consistent options, but he's very aware in those spots, and he has ideas about how he wants to force people to earn those stocks in return. The only other thing that I have written down is that he has practice hours versus high-level opponents, which is something that I already kind of mentioned previously. I think that not a lot of people have access to high-level melee, so they don't know, like, you play against Cody for the first time. Are you going to win? Maybe you're good at the Fox Ditto or whatever, man, but playing against Cody is a different beast. But Cody has played against Mango, and Mango has played against Cody a million times, and Mango's played against Zane a million times. So, like, Mango knows the pacing, he knows the people, he knows their strengths and weaknesses, and he's good enough at all of the other things that, like, if you're not a top 30 level player, if you catch him on a good day when he's taking the melee seriously, it's going to be incredibly difficult to beat him, even though he doesn't practice against you all the time. What he's concerned about is, how do I beat Zane? How do I beat Cody? How do I beat Jmook? How do I beat Hungrybox? Because the rest of his gameplay is solid enough and consistent enough that he can beat almost anybody else in the world without that type of experience. Not to mention that playing those high-level people also does prepare you for the types of options that other people are picking. A lot of times because those people are just kind of copying Cody or Zane if you're a Marth player, or HBox if you're a Puff player. So like him playing against those high-level people only makes him more comfortable against the imitators. So yeah, I wanted to make this video because I feel like people might have the wrong perception of how I go about competition. I don't just lab my way into thinking that I'm going to beat people or be a top-level competitor. I understand that it's very heavy on the mental side. I understand that, like, I need to not just do new things that push boundaries. I need to do effective things that I understand work. I need to play against high-level people. I need to understand the types of tempos that I'm allowed to play at. And that type of stuff is so... It's almost abstract in a sense. Like, it's not nearly as concrete. I can't make you a video on it without talking about some abstract things or showing you a million examples of how, like, you would have never thought to attack at that particular timing. And it might seem that Mango almost got lucky, and perhaps sometimes he does, but at the same time, like, you or I would attack off of a laser at a slightly different timing, and things would work out differently for us. And again, some of that surely is intuitive, but a lot of it is based in experience, which Mango has a lot of. But yeah, if you guys have thoughts about what makes Mango the GOAT, or your thoughts on pushing boundaries, or if you think that Mango should implement some sort of thing, feel free to let me know. I'm curious about your guys' takes on it. I will say I've done so much thinking about what should be added to gameplay for Falco to help him win. Because at the end of the day, that's all I want. And that's all that Mango has been doing for 2 decades now. And so I would not suggest to you guys double shining unless I knew that it was something good to do that you were able to do at a consistent rate in tournament, you know? But Mango's not doing it. So let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you guys like this video. I will catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.